Hello and welcome into the AP Sports Podcast. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but the changes as I will only now be covering college football as that has been a decision I have made. So if you guys are wanting to tune in for the whole college football season, breaking news, information, breakdown, analysis of each team, feel free to subscribe, drop a follow, drop a like on the way down. And we've already released our rankings from 25 all the way down to 11, as today we will be doing 10 all the way down to 1, so the final top 10, and this is post-spring, post-transfer portal, top 25 breakdown. If you all have not already seen those past videos, they are uploaded now, as I would recommend to go watch those, as there were some really good teams, a future conference champ as what I am predicting there as well. Very good teams, and they're solid teams that I think will do very good this season that will surprise a lot of people. Furthermore, to start off today's video, at number 10, we are putting a team that I really enjoy. I really think they're going to be really good this season. The Missouri Tigers. That is who I'm putting at number 10. I'm very high on this team. Very high on Missouri. I think Missouri could be a top-tier team. My prediction right now, which I will get further into, I think they have the capability to be an SEC. They could be playing in Atlanta for the SEC Conference Championship. They could be playing there. I don't know who they're going to be playing, but I think they have the capability to play there. I think they have the players, the coaching staff, the talent to play in Atlanta that week in December. But I think Missouri's a very good team. Veteran core is returning. The reason why I have that, Brady Cook at quarterback, he's here again. As you saw last year, great passer, unbelievable passer. He is his main receivers are back as well. Theo Weiss, Mookie Cooper, and tight end Brett Norfleet. They are all returning. And the one guy that you may have not heard right there is the All-American Luther Burden. I think he's going to win the Biletnikoff. That is my prediction right now. I think he'll be the first wide receiver drafted in next year's draft. He's going to be very good. He's a stud. He's fast, playmaker. He can jump. He can do anything. He creates space. He is very, very good. I think Luther Burden and Brady Cook will help lead this Missouri offense to roughly, I would say, they have a chance to go 10, 11 wins, maybe undefeated if their defense can step up, which as I'm going to get into now. They are returning a lot of veteran players on defense. They've got some very impactful portal transfers as well on the defense side of the ball, so I think that could be very good. So as we move on, that is Missouri at 10. If we move on to number 9, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is a team where every single year they're good. They're good every year, Notre Dame. I think this year, personally, they'll be the same way. Riley Leonard, he's coming to South Bend, transferring from Duke. Riley Leonard is a very, very good playmaker. If that ankle is healthy, watch out. Watch out. He could be a Heisman contender as well, a dark horse Heisman contender, which I actually have him, and those rankings will come out in a later video. But Riley Leonard, I think he's really good. No offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, he has high expectations. He has a lot of different play schemes, a lot of different formations. He hides well, his schemes, his routes, and all that. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Pierce will be the backfield. I expect Jeremiah Love to have a breakout season. I expect him to put up a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, in my opinion. I think with Riley Leonard being the main focus of that offense and Riley Leonard's legs also being a main focus for defenses, I think that Jeremiah Love could be a breakout player. Mitchell Evans is back from injury as well for the Fighting Irish. The biggest question for Notre Dame that I have is their offensive line. They have to replace 3 starters. First-round pick Joe Alt as well is who they're replacing. I think they can get it done as Notre Dame. They are offensive line university, in my opinion. They produce offensive linemen over and over again, year in, year out. I think Notre Dame will be very, very good this upcoming season. If we look at their schedule here, they start off with Texas A&M Week 1, Saturday, August 31st, 7:30 p.m. ABC will be that game. That will be a good test. That'll be a good test. And then their next huge game is Florida State all the way in November. So between August 31st and November 9th, they have a pretty good schedule. They have a very favorable schedule as well. They have USC at the end at USC, but that game is always fun to watch. But I think Notre Dame has the chance to be very good. I think they'll make the playoff this year unless something goes horribly wrong up there in South Bend. But I have Notre Dame going very far. Real quick on their defense, forgot to get into that real quick. Al Golden will look to expand on what already is a very good defense. I think the scheme he has is very good. They're returning 5 starters, including stud Xavier Watts at safety and defensive tackle Howard Cross III. I think these playmakers, these leaders will be good. Benjamin Morrison, he'll be a top 10 pick in next year's draft. He's at corner. He's very good. The schedule is really good. I have them, we'll get into this, but I'll say right now, I have them at a 10-2 floor. I think that is the worst they go at 10-2. And obviously the ceiling I have at 12-0. But I think Notre Dame at 9, I think they're really good. I think they have the potential to go even higher, top 5 by the end of the year, possibility. But that is that. At number 8, I have Alabama. Nick Saban, he's gone. The legend, the best college coach of all time. He is gone. Nick Saban is gone. Kalen DeBoer takes over from Washington. Kalen DeBoer, he's a winner. Kalen DeBoer, he wins at every single place he goes. Look at where he's gone. He does not matter where he's gone. He has won Fresno State, Sioux Falls, Washington. Like, he just wins. He's a flat-out winner. He makes people around him better. And even though Nick Saban, he's gone or whatever, Alabama, it's still Alabama. You're going to get players. You're going to have people go there. I mean, yes, Isaiah Bond, Caleb Downs, all these players, these stars left, Trey Amos, but they still have Jalen Milroe. He's a Heisman candidate. He could win it all. He is a winner. He's a stud. And I think Alabama, they're Alabama. Kalen DeBoer brought players with him from Washington. I think they're going to be very good. Justice Haynes at running back, I think, will be very good. 5-star freshman Ryan Williams at receiver. He could be a huge impact. At defense, I do think they need to get better after losing so much talent, but I think they'll be just fine. They have a new defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, obviously, with Nick Saban leaving, the legends leaving with him. The schedule though, it is tough. I mean, Alabama's schedule is always tough every year. It's Alabama, SEC. They have Georgia September 28th. It is a home game though. It's in Tuscaloosa. That is the big one. You go to Tennessee October 19th. You go to LSU November 9th. And you go to Oklahoma November 23rd. That's rough. You also have Missouri in there between Tennessee and LSU October 26th. But that is a home game for you guys. I think Alabama, it's going to be a great test this year. I think Kalen DeBoer is going to have them in a very good spot by the end of the year. I don't know how they will do. We'll have to wait and see. I have my prediction, but it's just a really tough schedule. SEC, Kalen DeBoer, new season. We'll see how it goes, but Jalen Milroe, I think, will help them lead it. Now to my next team. And if you will be watching this show very often, you will know why this team I'm very high on. The Michigan Wolverines at number 7. The Michigan Wolverines, coming off a national championship, losing Jim Harbaugh, losing all that production, having all those players drafted in last year's draft. J.J. McCarthy gone, Blake Corum gone, Mike Barrett, Junior Colson, Mikey Sanders-Shill, all these players are gone. All these leaders, that's what I should say. Winners, the dogs of the team. Let me tell you something. I think Michigan, I don't think they'll be good as last year. I don't. But I think Michigan will shock a lot of people. A lot of people are doubting them. You look at their schedule, we'll get into their schedule real quick. They have Texas week 2. That's going to be a great game, September 7th. Guess what? That's at home. They go to Washington as a national championship rematch, which I think they favor in that one. They have Oregon too, but guess what? Oregon's at home November 2nd. That's also later in the year. That's normally when the Wolverines get rolling. They go to Ohio State at the end of the year, and you know how that game will be. They also have USC September 21st at home as well. The Michigan Wolverines, I think they're going to be very good. Guess what? They lost all those players. Well, guess what? They have 4 first-round picks still on their team. 4 first-round picks, ladies and gentlemen. Colson Love, that tight end, he will be the top tight end drafted in next year's draft. Mark my words, he'll be top tight end drafted. And guess what? They also have the best corner, in my opinion, in college football, Will Johnson. Him and Benjamin Morrison are the 2 highest cornerbacks I have rated. Will Johnson is unreal, athlete, best corner. He will be on everyone's number 1 receiver. We keep going on. Defensive tackles, Kenneth Grant. He's a unit. Everyone saw him last year run down the Penn State running back. He is a monster. Mason Graham, another projected first-round pick. And guess what? That's not it. Miles Hinton, he's back. He will be a draft pick later on that draft. Donovan Edwards, he will be a later draft pick. And guess what? People say he's still running from the 2022 Ohio State game. He is still gone. He is still running right now. Donovan Edwards is an impact player. Yes, last year he didn't have the greatest season, but guess what? When it mattered most, he comes up big. When it matters, he is there. He puts on a show. He will outrun you. Look at the national championship game. 2 carries, 2 touchdowns. First 2 carries of the game. They're up 14-0. Blink of an eye. Donovan Edwards, he will be the big player on that offense. They also have Tyler Morris, Samaj Morgan. Those 2 players, fast. You saw Tyler Morris last year. Ran a drag route against Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Guess what? To the house. Gone. Samaj Morgan, blazing speed. Michigan is a team I would watch out for. That defense. They lost all those guys. Well, guess what? Remember how last year they would rotate in on guys at D-line? They have 4 of them still. I would watch out. They got to the quarterback. Michigan is a very good team. Secondary, Quentin Johnson back. Rod Moore, he came back. He did tear his ACL in the spring. He could be back at the end of the year, mid to end of the year. Makari Page, Quentin Johnson, Will Johnson. Jada McBurrows will be a player that will have to step up big. There are 2 linebackers in Ernest Hosman and Jayshawn Barham. They will be huge people. Those were 2 of the highest graded transfer portal linebackers, and they both went to Michigan. Those 2 will be the 2 main guys up front. New defense coordinator, Don Wink Martindale. Well, guess what? His scheme, the exact same thing that's been going on up in Ann Arbor this entire time. Exact same scheme. He even hides it a little better, as what some could say. Michigan is a team that I have to be very, very, very good. A lot of people need to watch out for them. I have a great prediction on them later. And if we get into real quick, their quarterback thing, I think Alex Orji will be the starting quarterback when it comes to the fall. I think he's just too good as a playmaker, the running, the deep ball threat. I think Alex Orji will be that. But guess what? They have veteran guys, Jack Tuttle, freshman Jaden Davis, Davis Warren, Jaden Denegal. I think this Michigan team is deep. They are still deep. But that is Michigan at number 7. If we move on real quick to Ole Miss at number 6, Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, the transfer portal monster. That's what some people call him. The transfer portal monster. He gets anyone he wants. I don't know how. He just does. But they got even more depth in transfer portal. They returned their 3 main receivers from last season, which I think will help Jackson Dart later on in the season as the season goes on. Jackson Dart, Heisman candidate as well, in my opinion. Antoine Wells Jr., he transferred in from South Carolina. He's a playmaker at wide receiver. Ulysses Bentley, he will be the lead back as you see Judkins left to Ohio State, which you will see them later on. That is the offense. I think the offense will be really good. Experienced veteran group up front as well. But that offense will put up points. Oh, they'll put up points. But defense, this is where they got busy. Walter Nolan and Princely, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name, Uman Millennium. I'm sorry, that is bad. But they added those 2 impactful players to the D-line. They also got Trey Amos from Bama. Very fast and very physical group on the defense side of the ball. I think they will be very good at Ole Miss. I think they have a chance to win the SEC. I think their talent matches up great with Georgia, who is my favorite in Texas. So I think they match up very well with that. I think Ole Miss will be very good. Looking at their schedule real quick, they go to LSU October 12th, and they host Georgia this year, November 9th. That is a great sign for that, which I think that will be a very good game to keep an eye on in the season. That is a game that will impact the season very, very heavily. That is Ole Miss at number 6. And number 5 is Utah. I'm not going to get too deep into Utah. But Utah, number 5. Cam Rising. If he's healthy, he's the real deal. He's coming back. Brent, and if I pronounce his name, I'm sorry. Brent Kuthi, he's back as well. He was hurt all last year. He is Cam Rising's favorite target. Everyone knows that. He was hurt. They got USC transfer Dorian Singer. He will come in. Their offensive line will be fine. Very experienced group, very physical group. I think Cam Rising, if that ankle's healthy, that run game will be lethal. That run game, that pass game will be lethal. I think Utah has a chance to win the Big 12. They are the favorites, which you already saw who my pick for the Big 12 is. But if we flip ball to the defense, they will have one of the best defenses in the country, as they do every year. I think they're going to do a lot better on turnovers this year. I think that defense being so fast, so physical, very athletic, I think that will help them later on as it goes into the season. The Oklahoma State game is big, September 21st. I think the winner of that, we could see a rematch of that game in the Big 12 championship. But that is... They go to Oklahoma State September 1st, week after. They host Arizona, which is good. And then they end the year with at Colorado, hosting Iowa State at UCF. I think Utah has the chance to be very, very good. I think they will be very, very good. But that is Utah at number 5. And if we go real quick to Oregon, as these top 4 teams, I won't get into too much because I just think they are the 4 best. I think these 4 best, and then there's a group under them. At number 4, I have Oregon. First year in the Big 10, Dan Lanning. I think he is probably top 2 coaches in college football right now with Kirby Smart. He is unreal. I think he is a great player. What he brings in is unreal. The talent he produces there is unreal. Dylan Gabriel coming in from OU, I think he's the real deal. Tez Johnson is back. He is super fast. They got Texas A&M transfer Evan Stewart. He will also come in to that offense. I think they will be very good. Offensive line's good. Weapons on the outside. Tight ends are good. That offense is going to throw. Don't be surprised if they average 40 to 50 passing attempts a game. They will put up points. The defense, they're fast and physical. I think they will look to put pressure on the quarterback very, very fast. As last year, they were very, very good at that. But I think they want to be better. They want to be faster with the quarterback. They want the quarterback to force more bad decisions. And the Big Ten, it's got that running, like the scheme is running the football, big man football, I guess what you should say. And Oregon's going to look to just go over the top of that, throw over the top of that, over and over and over. And their trenches are fine. Their D-line, offensive line, they are fine. I think they will compete in the Big Ten. That game against Ohio State, October 12th, will be a huge game. And they go to Michigan November 2nd, which I think that will be a very, very big game. That will be a very, very big game. They have multiple experienced transfers also coming in, including Washington transfer Jabbar Muhammad at corner. He is very good. Very, very good. But Oregon is a team I have to go very deep in the playoff and maybe even the Big Ten champ, which I will give to that later. At number 3, Texas. Quinn, it's Texas, very simple. Quinn Ewers is back. They got Isaiah Bond. They have a veteran offensive line. They're very fast. They're very physical. They're very athletic. They have the athletes to compete against these very good teams in the SEC. I think they will be just fine in the SEC. I think they'll be just fine. Their defense is very experienced, as they have very experienced secondary play returning. Their defensive line, they have to get more depth. I think they'll be just fine in that. But they are a very good team all around. Texas, real quick, they go to Michigan week 2. The college game that I'm going to predict will be there. And then they have Oklahoma October 12th. Week after, they host Georgia, so that is a very, very big game. But Texas, their schedule, the hard games they have at home, at Michigan week 2, that'll be a very, very big game. But this team, last year, Quinn Ewers coming back, Isaiah Bond transferring in from Alabama, I think they'll be a very good team. Texas will be a very good team. They're one of the favorites to win the national championship, which I have them up there too as one of the favorites. But Texas is a very good team. At number 2, number 1 and number 2, I've been flip-flopping. But real quick, number 2 is Georgia. And everyone knows who number 1 is, as Ohio State is number 1 on my list. But Georgia at number 2. And this will take about 45 seconds. They're a rinse and repeat team. they lose NFL draft prospects. What do they bring in? NFL draft prospects. They make them as well there too. And Athens. Carson Beck, this is his Heisman year, as some will say. I think he's one of the favorites to win the Heisman. I have him being in New York at the end of the year as a Heisman finalist. He is very good. I have them, as I said before, debatably as the number 1 team. They have a hard schedule, but guess what? That's never stopped them. They have Clemson week 1, which I think they will be perfectly fine through. They go to Tuscaloosa September 28th, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But Georgia is a team that I have to be very good, as always. They'll be 11-1, 12-0, 10-2 at the worst. I have Georgia being a very, very good team. And at number 1, the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Ohio State Buckeyes. I have them there because I have them as my most loaded and most talented team. And I think loaded is maybe an understatement. With what they did in the transfer portal this year and what they had coming back, and recruiting as well. You got Judkins from Ole Miss, one of the best running backs in the country. And guess what? Trayvon Henderson is still there. That duo is going to be unreal. You got Caleb Downs from Alabama. Probably one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in college football. You got JTT back on the defensive line. Sawyer's back. You got all these players back. All these players back. The most loaded team in the country. At QB, it does not matter who it is. I don't care who it is. Aaron Nolan, Devin Brown, Will Howard. It does not matter who it is. They are going to be fine. The talent will be there. You know they're going to score. They score every year. It's just the problem that they've had recently is the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line. And guess what? They have built that up there in Columbus. They have built that up. They want to be more physical. They want to compete with that team up north is what they say. And guess what? This is the year I think that this is the year. If they don't get this year against Michigan, heads up, Ryan Day. Heads up. Which that game is going to be the biggest game of the year in my opinion, if not the Texas-Georgia game. But if we look at Ohio State's schedule, it's pretty favorable. They go to Oregon October 12th. They also travel to Happy Valley at Penn State November 2nd, and they host Michigan November 30th for the game. But Ohio State, I think they will be the most loaded team in the country. They'll be the best team. They'll be one of the best teams in the country, let me say that. I think Ohio State has the ability to win a national championship this year. I think this is their national championship or bust year, as what Michigan was last year. But I think Ohio State is very good, and they are lethal. I would watch out for them. But that is my top 10. That will conclude it. Thank you for watching in and tuning in. Our next video will be on my Heisman finalists, or my predictions for that, as some will say. But thank you for tuning in. That is the top 10. That is the final top 25. You can go back and watch the other videos to see which teams fall in between 11 and 25. But that is my post-spring, post-transfer portal top 25. And thank you, as always, for tuning in.